Hi everyone, welcome back to Cute Nerdy DIY. Today we're going to be doing another Primark sponge makeover. So today I'm going to be basically redecorating this sponge and making it still into a rainbow but a little bit cuter and also squishier. As you can see, it's not very slow rising at the moment, but hopefully we can fix that. So, as usual, I'm not using puffy paint and I'll explain why in a second. Instead, I'm actually using PVA glue, acrylic paints and shaving foam. So, a lot of you keep asking why I don't use puffy paint to make my squishies. Well, the reason is puffy paint where I live is quite expensive and it's also quite hard to get as I don't live near any shops that sell it. So for me, this is kind of the cheapest way to do it. I know obviously puffy paint works better, but for me this way works well enough that you can make a squishy and it squishes quite well. So that's kind of why I do this, and like I said, it does work out a lot cheaper for how much paint you get. So yeah, I hope that clears things up for those of you who don't know. I have mentioned this before in other videos, but if you're new here then maybe you won't know why I do that. So as you can see, I'm just painting everything on white first. I did use the paintbrush for this. It doesn't really make a difference on the first layer. On the second layer, I used the lollipop stick to basically cover everything up. Now, if you look at the measurements I actually used for my mixture, in the first layer I used way too much shaving foam, which actually makes the paint like quite bubbly and it dries out quite hard and it doesn't work very well. So once you've done a couple of layers, I got together some paints. Now I use the same mixture here, but basically I made some little pastel colours and I started painting on the rainbow. I did this in quite a thick layer. I didn't actually draw any of the lines on beforehand, which I kind of wish I did now, so that I could have got a more equal line for each colour, but instead I just kind of did it looking at it, so making a guess. But I did this in quite a thick layer. I then went over it with another layer once it had dried. Now, as you may remember, I said that when I get to 500 subscribers, there is actually going to be a giveaway. So the giveaway will be at the end of this video. So once the pink had dried, I started to paint on the yellow. Now I split a lollipop stick in half here just so that I can get a more precise tool. I've done this quite a lot and it actually works really well because you have like the smooth end and the sharp end, so you can kind of get different levels of accuracy, which is really handy. But yeah, I'm basically just kind of smoothing it all on in a thick layer. I did this to both sides and I hung it up to dry using the string. So basically once that had dried, I did the same technique for the other colours, and if they needed any more layers, I'd add that in afterwards. I think with DIY squishies and squishy makeovers, it's really a case of like personal preference, so it's completely up to you what kind of design you want to do and what techniques you want to use. It's really more about what works best for you. There's really not a wrong or right way. As you can see, the sponge is getting really soft and the layer's quite thick, which makes everything look a bit more squishy. And finally I added the blue. the last little step with the paint was I actually decided to paint the rope on the top because I thought it'd look a bit nicer if it was the same colour, and it actually ended up squishing really well. So as always, I used my permanent marker. Now I thought I'd show a close-up because it's not a Sharpie, but in case you wanted to buy these, you don't have to, but a Sharpie will work perfectly fine. Also acrylic paints work just as well. I thought I'd draw some cute little faces on the front and give them some rosy cheeks. So this is probably one of the more simple makeovers and squishy DIYs that I've done, but it was a nice quick one and I thought it looked super cute. So I let that dry and I also put the little smiley faces on the back, and now it's time to squish it. As you can see, it's a lot more slow rising than it was when it was just a sponge, and this is probably one of the cheapest squishy makeovers you can actually do, and also because you don't have to shape anything, it's really easy if you want to kind of give it a go for your first time. So now it's time for some giveaway details because I can't believe we actually did it. We reached 500 subscribers. So to enter, if you make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like the video and leave a comment with your favourite squishy and why, and then I'll pick out the best comment and they'll win a squishy prize. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate all the support and I'll see you in the next video.